Mr. Hankins was training them like they was going to go to war the next day. I'm just terrified in my mind. I'm saying to myself, if I get out of here, I'm not coming back. I am not coming back. So getting into class, I go to the dressing room. I just look kind of exploring the school, and they said the men's dressing room is on that side, the ladies' dressing room is on that side, the bathroom's over there. So I go back to the dressing room, and I walk back there, and this guy, he pulling his pants up. He had one arm. He said, "Is you a boy or a girl?" I said, "I'm a boy." He said, "Okay, you in the right place." He said, "I thought you was a girl." He said, then when one of my other cousins that was there before me, he said, "You know, that's a boy with them big ass feet he got." So, they started joking and laughing on me. The first day they started joking on me. And that was just the family that we had. We joked on each other back and forth and back. So anyway, Bernard had one arm. He had fallen off the monkey bars when he was like 7 years old. And they put a cast on his arm and they put it on too tight and it caused it infected and he had gangrene in his arm. So they didn't have the technology back then that we have now. So they ended up having to amputate his whole shoulder. So when he pulled his uniform off, it was just like nothing there. It was just a rib cage. And I had never seen nothing like that. So I didn't want to really look at him, but I was looking at him. I was going, damn, he ain't got one arm. But anyway, Bernard, before I ever saw Bruce Lee, Bernard had the most amazing kicks that I had ever seen before in my life. He could take his leg and put it anywhere, anytime, any place, when he wanted to. And often, as I grew and him and I became better friends and trained me, he would kick me and laugh at me, kick me in the face, bust my lip and laugh. "Boy, come on, boy, I got one arm and you got two and you can't even block my legs." But Bernard had the fastest legs I had ever seen. Once Mr. Hankins introduced me to the class, he told Bernard, he said, "Bernard, this is Jack." He said, "Oh, man." Bernard said, yeah, Mr. Hankins, I met him in the dressing room." He said, "He's your project." And Bernard like, "What you mean?" He said, "I want you to work with him. I want you to train him. He looked like he might have good legs, so I need you to work with him." Bernard was like, "Yes, sir." So Bernard, he came to my house the next day and he was like, "All right, man, you got to come to the class. You got to come to class and we're going to work out." So I really didn't understand what working out was. And then that night, the first night at class, I'm watching these guys and they fighting, hitting each other with as hard as God would let them. I'm just terrified in my mind. I'm saying to myself, if I get out of here, I'm not coming back. I am not coming back. I mean, Mr. Hankins would say stuff like, "Hit him as hard as God will let you." And we was just, not me at the time, but they was just drilling each other. Boom! And it was like Mr. Hankins was training them like they was going to go to war the next day. They had that military mindset of if a man step in front of you, you're supposed to hit him with one punch. He used to always say, "Ippon kumite" in Japanese to mean 1.1 kill. The first strike that you make, you should be a dead man on the other end. That's the mindset that he was giving us. So anyway, getting to the first part of the class, he said, "Bernard, warm the class up." We started doing jumping jacks. Bernard got one hand. So we doing jumping jacks. And we started out 1, 2, 3. But so every time we do 1, it was a double count. 2, we never really did single count jumping jacks. So if we did 500 jumping jacks, we were doing like 1,000. So if we did 1,000, we did like 2,000. So that was the regiment that we started off with. If you got sick, caught cramps or whatever, you fall up to the side, catch your breath. Mr. Hankins walking around with his stick and pop you, "Get back in there." So after you got that stick a couple of times, and I'll bring that out and show that to you after a while. After you got that stick a couple of times, you ain't want to get it no more. After the first time, you're like, "God dang," he would hit you with that stick. It was a shanai pretty much, a bamboo shanai. And he would hit us with that stick. And you didn't want to fall off to the side for the simple fact that you didn't want that stick. So like I said, we started off with 500 jumping jacks, which was really 1,000 jumping jacks. So over the next day, my feet, my toes puffed up, my big toes puffed up, had water blisters on them. And I didn't know not to peel them. So I see the boys, so I popped the blisters and peeled them off. Next day I'm walking with my toes curled up because I couldn't touch the ground because the skin was tender. And they said you're supposed to let them dry out on their own. So I used to watch Bernard. He used to put white medical tape on his toes. And I used to wonder why he put white medical tape on his toes. Then I knew after he did them, we did all them jumping jacks. But after a while, your feet calloused up, so you didn't get the water blister. But if you stayed away from class for 2 weeks or a month, when you came back and you did them 500 jumping jacks, your feet will blister up again. We started doing 500 jumping jacks for the warm up, which at a double count, so that's 1,000 jumping jacks. Then we would stretch for an hour to 45 minutes. We would stretch singly and then with partners. And you put your leg up on the other guy's shoulder and then they lean back and you stretching out. Or either they would take and get a side kick position and put your back up against the wall, your shoulder up against the wall, and they push that side kick up as high as you could and stretching that groin area open. And then you partner stretch where you sit on the floor and you open your legs up and they put their feet on the inside of your ankles and you lock hands. Then they lean back and they're pushing your legs open, and then you lean back and then they lean back. You do that for a few times and then you switch and you do it to them. So it was a serious stretching regimen. Whew, I'm having flashbacks right now. Think about it. So we would do our warm up, then we would do our stretch, then we kick, front kick, round kick, side kick, back kick, spinning hook kicks, lead leg hook kick, back leg hook kick. We did every kick that it was that we had in our regiment, the pretty much basic kicks. Then we did them singly. We did them from the lead leg. Then we did them from the back leg. Then we did them double roundhouse kick, double front kick roundhouse kick. We mix it up. Then we hook kick roundhouse kick, lead leg and the back leg. So our classes on the average was like 2.5 to 3 hours long, depending on how Mr. Hankins felt. We would do that, and you know, I hadn't even got my uniform yet, but I would watch the guys take their uniform off in the dressing room, and they could wring it out and sweat. The uniform would be soaking wet with sweat, just like you put it in the wash machine, and when you take it out to put it in the dryer, that's how wet their uniforms would be. So Bernard, he would just take his uniform off and hang it on a hanger. We had a shower in the studio, so he would take it and turn the shower on and rinse the salt out the uniform, the body from your salt from your body, and then we just put it on a hanger. And then by the next day it'd be dry, he'd wear it again. And then that was the thing. So when I finally got my uniform, back then uniform was like $15, white traditional uniform. And Mr. Hankins always wanted us to have our uniforms pressed, clean, starch. Creases going down the side of the sleeve, down the side of the legs. And if you came in and your uniform was not pressed and starched, you had push-ups. So that was a regiment. You got to have your uniform clean. You come in with dirty fingernails. Mr. What's wrong with your fingernails? Unless you was an auto mechanic, he didn't want to see your fingernails dirty, your toenails dirty. And you come in, your nails dirty, go over there and do me some push-ups till you figure out how to clean your fingernails. Go over there and do me some push-ups till you figure out how to clean your toenails. Go over there and do some push-ups until you figure out how to trim your toenails. So he stayed on us about hygiene. And it was a lot of times when guys came in when they came from work, they be smelling like they've been working all day. And it was like, back then we ain't had to wipe stuff. It's like, bring them, bar soap and a rag and go in the bathroom and wash yourself, put some deodorant on before you come on my floor. But it was a lot of times the guys didn't do that. They just came in smelling from work. And Mr. Hankins would work them out hard and then go over there and give me 50 push-ups. Next time you come here, I need you to be smelling better. He would call you out in a minute. He had no problem embarrassing you, hurting your feelings. I started learning how to kick. I was learning how to stretch. Burnout was like worrying me to death. I was like, if I get out this class, I ain't coming back. I tried to quit every class up until Greenbelt. That's the beginning of my journey through the martial arts. I'm Grandmaster Jack Dark, and I'll see you next time.